Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. This time I'm going through my predictions for the 2018 season, which are about to start this weekend. So I'm very excited to see how it goes, especially considering we may have three teams that are really close and could battle it out potentially for the World Championship. But starting with my predictions, obviously we're gonna look at the champions from last year, Mercedes, and I'm sort of expecting them to do the same again this year. I think Hamilton will win his fifth World Championship if everything goes according to plan, and I think Bottas will be there to challenge him, but I think he will, as the season goes on, be pushed into sort of a second driver role, and I really doubt he can beat Hamilton because obviously you need a lot of luck, Rosberg, to do that. So I don't think he has the skills to do it. But moving on to our next team, Red Bull, which I believe will be right behind Mercedes, potentially equal, maybe better at some races, but I think the fact that I think Mercedes is going to have the upper hand in qualifying over the rest of the field for most of the year is going to obviously be pivotal, because obviously overtaking is still a bit dodgy in these new cars. I don't think the winter will have fixed those issues, so starting on pole gives you a very good setup for the race, and I think Max Verstappen will beat Ricciardo because I think he's just got a bit more aggressive and approach to the races, and maybe just a bit more talent. And I think if we looked at last season, he did beat him most of the time when he didn't DNF. So hopefully they can challenge Mercedes. And then Ferrari, I think obviously it's only going to be Vettel who's going to do anything. Raikkonen is just going to walk around the track at the snail's pace like he's done for the last 5 years. I don't know, he's been dreadful ever since he moved to Ferrari. And I think Vettel will it's tricky because obviously if Ferrari are there, he's going to do everything he can to win his fifth World Championship. So it could be a battle between Vettel and Hamilton for the fifth championship, but I think they might just edge behind a little bit because Ferrari have been poor for so long, and it's only really last year they had a good car, and then they ended up bottling it anyway. So I think maybe they'll do something similar to that. So that was sort of the top three, which it's tricky. They could be in and about each other, but the ones right behind, I think we'll have Renault and McLaren. But obviously it's difficult to say with McLaren because, like we saw in pre-season testing, the reliability was atrocious. But if they fix that, I'm guessing they could be quite fast. Whereas I think Renault will be more consistent, whereas I think McLaren will possibly edge them a lot on some weekends and then maybe have some bad ones with the new Renault power. So I think for Alonso is going to be the first of those four drivers, and I think obviously Van Dorn doesn't hold a candle to Alonso, so there's no really any team battle there. Whereas I think Sainz is actually going to beat Hulkenberg. He did very well towards the end of last season, and I think with a full season and now he's going to be better than Hulkenberg, because I think, in my opinion, Hulkenberg is just a standard driver who he's just standard. There's nothing more to say about him really. And then behind those, it's gonna be tricky because with Force India, is this the year where their lack of financial funds are really gonna hurt them? Because obviously McLaren and Renault are gonna try and step it up, where I think Force India are gonna fall behind in the development race, and they'll probably be the team behind them, sort of rounding out the midfield, sort of towards the back of the grid, maybe at the front sometimes. And I think Ocon will be the one to win that inter-team battle, also because he got a lot to prove with potentially a Mercedes seat opening up if Bottas doesn't really do much. And then we have Haas and Toro Rosso, who I don't know where to put them, because if we looked at some of Kevin Magnussen's times doing testing, they look very good. And obviously they do have a relationship with Ferrari, so maybe they could somehow have got something of last year's car, I don't know. But obviously I think them and Toro Rosso are a bit tricky to pinpoint, because Toro Rosso, I'm guessing, we're going to have a very good chassis again this year, but the drivers are a bit shit. They don't. Brendan Hartley, mate, what are you doing in F1? So it's a bit tricky to put them, but I think they'll be behind the midfield, and then Haas could possibly. Last year they couldn't really get, like, sometimes they were top 10 and then suddenly they were all towards the back of the grid, so it's very difficult to pinpoint. But I think they'll be around 16th place, maybe to 14th place, somewhere around there. And then we obviously got Williams and Sauber as the two final teams, and it doesn't look good for Williams, does it? How are they so shit? I mean, looking at preseason testing, it's not going to be a good season. They've got two paid drivers, Sirotkin and Stroll. I mean, Stroll is going to be the team leader. He's the most experienced in there. It just doesn't sound well, does it? The fact that a 32-year-old half injured Kubica can beat them in testing and probably in the simulator as well doesn't bode well for them, do they? So, but I think Williams is just going to be a bit. They're not going to do anything special this season, and there isn't really anything to watch with them because they haven't got interesting drivers. Unlike Sauber, who has Charles Leclerc, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do in that Sauber this year, because obviously he's the F2 champion and he looked ridiculous sometimes last year in F2, so hopefully he can carry that into F1. But obviously it's tricky. How are you going to show anything in a Sauber? I mean, you're going to be dead last, so for him it's maybe grabbing that elusive 1 point at some races. And obviously Ericsson, I mean, why are you here, fam? Just go back to Sweden. No one likes you, and you're just taking up space. So I mean, that's all I've got to say on him, really. So that was my reactions, not my reactions, my opinion on what's going to happen in this season. And I could be completely wrong. We could be having McLaren at number 1 in Australia on Sunday, but I really doubt it. I think it's going to be I think Hamilton's going to win on Sunday, and hopefully, as I am a Hamilton fan, I hope he will carry that through the season. So obviously that does, shape my opinions a little bit, because I do prefer him to all the other drivers. But that's been my video for this time, and hopefully we'll have a good Grand Prix on Sunday, and I'll see you next time.